Hey guys, welcome to me reacting to Game Theory, the lost history of Minecraft's Wither by the Game Theorist. Now, I am excited for this because, if you haven't seen my Minecraft series that I'm doing right now, you guys should check it out. I'll leave a link into the description, a link for the playlist in the description. But yeah, I honestly love Minecraft. I think it's a great game. But my friends told me about a new game that apparently is kind of like Minecraft, and I'm gonna actually be playing it on my phone for the videos. And it's called Ark, and I did a community post with a poll, and I spelled Ark wrong. It's actually A-R-K, not A-R-C. So yeah, I guess I'll just put a sort of poll in the eye in the corner. So click that if you guys want me to do sort of a series on that, because I definitely want some more feedback from if you didn't see the community posts or didn't vote. But yeah, anyways, guys, originally in the description. Make sure to subscribe to the Game Theorist. That link's also in the description. And let's get right into it now.
Theory to start things off.
Bite size.
What are they? They're the
hostile
mob in the game.
Yeah, they just come out of nowhere when you throw an ender pearl.
But to me, the weirdest detail about them is that they don't get along with the Enderman. When each other, they just attack. It's a strange little detail to include since so many of the other spawns in the end aren't hostile towards one another.
Yeah, shulkers and endermen?
What if Endermites are actually silverfish? The obnoxious little gray bugs that
oh my god, and they actually go into the end?
Are just silverfish who went through an end portal.
Yeah.
Themselves a bunch of chorus fruit when they were out there in the end or whatever. The proof here is actually surprisingly substantial. Cue up the checklist. Point number one, both Endermites and silverfish are small. In fact, they're both so small that they'll suffocate to death in the sinking depths of soul sand. They're the only hostile mobs where this sort of thing happens. Speaking of their size, not only are they both small, technically speaking, they're exactly the same size. According to Minecraft Gamepedia, both creatures
you know the
and 0.4
what?
Wide. In fact, they're so similar that an early
they have the same health. I saw that.
Was just that of silverfish. You can just see it right here on screen right now. The design was eventually changed during Java Edition 1.8, but for a while the two looked almost identical. Now, I know it means that they're recolored assets. It doesn't necessarily make them the same creature, but think again. To understand exactly why, we need to look at the enchantment Bane of Arthropods.
Bane of Arthropods.
Pretty lame as far as enchantments go. Sure.
Yeah. Sadly, I got that on a sword. But haven't gotten that on camera because that's part 11 from my Minecraft series. Stay tuned.
Diverse creatures in this universe, and those two happen silverfish and endermites.
Also bees that are coming, which aren't affected by that enchantment for some weird reason.
But here's the kicker. The only way to get to the end is through portals that are hidden in strongholds deep underground, right?
Yeah.
No big surprise there.
Near silverfish. There's a silverfish. Why can't I speak? There's a silverfish spawner near them.
That makes sense since they're the primary place that you find the portal to the end game. But the two features required of the room, obviously the portal, but also a silverfish spawner. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but this to me reads like the criminals returning to the scene of the crime. So why don't Endermen and Endermites get along? Well, if my last theory was correct about Endermen
because they're pests
builders, then one of their old foes would have been the silverfish. Silverfish who are in the perfect position to leap through end portals at the same time as these ancient builders. And so now, hundreds of generations, one end portal later, that battle is still being waged.
Nice.
New names, new faces, but the same old enemies. But hey, that's just a theory. Mini theory. And I'm just getting started.
Wow. So that's just the start? That was just the start?
Welcome to
Game
Theory.
Nice.
does indeed.
So this is about the Wither, apparently.
Not just why platforms need to respect their smaller creators, or why leaving video games causing violence is short-sighted.
Oh, yeah.
I call out both those episodes, by the way, is that both of them underperformed. One even got itself demonetized, but they're, in my honest opinion, two of the most important episodes that we've ever done on the channel. So if you happen to miss either one of those, which there's a high likelihood that you did, please give them a watch after this video.
I already saw the Game Theory do video games cause violence.
But today we're not talking about those episodes. Instead, I'm looking to build on another theory. One
Shit.
that you all seem to like. One that started us down the path towards deciphering the hidden lore of Minecraft.
Yep.
Because there is lore here. It's not all giant golden
There
waves
clearly is.
off in the distance. But unlike most other games,
Censor that, yeah.
isn't told through dialogue and cutscenes. Instead, it's communicated through subtle design choices.
Oh, yeah.
Missions, character designs, achievement names, hostile versus
Oh, yeah.
friendly patterns, and all of that will be important today as we explore the secrets.
The end again.
Because last time we looked at the end of the Minecraft story. Today, we're talking about how it all began. So, in case you missed it...
Oh, yeah, because when you spawn in the achievement's called the beginning. And then I think, I don't know what it is when you kill them.
Builders. They speak English. They're able to hold rudimentary blocks.
Wow.
It would explain why strongholds are called strongholds in the first place, and why mysterious structures like underwater monuments and old mine shafts are left abandoned, dotted around the overworld with no other living creature in this universe.
Well, actually, the mansions are abandoned.
Nor craft. The theory
The
also
monuments
says
are kind of
why
inhabited.
they contain abandoned chests full of supplies, totally inappropriate for life in that hostile purple environment. There's obviously a lot more, but you should just go watch that video.
What?
If you're interested, link is in the didgeridoo.
I've already reacted that. By the way, thanks for 11,000 views on that video, by the way, the reaction video.
Wind up in the end in the first place. They seem like they were fleeing to it, but why? Curiosity? An accident? I ultimately conclude that it was to escape something. Some big threat that existed out there.
The Wither?
Now, obviously, the overworld is populated with
The Wither was Herobrine.
skeletons, but that just
Am I right? I swear to God.
Building out a massive underground fortress deep down near the bedrock. No, after doing the research, it's my belief that these ancient builders accidentally summoned the Wither, which proceeded then to decimate their established society, killing them off by the hundreds until they somehow managed to flee to the end and escape. Now, why would I say this? Well, first and foremost, let's look at the achievement list, shall we? When we defeat the Ender Dragon, we get our
The end.
And that makes
I already did that, by the way, if you haven't seen part 10.
Final boss of the game, after all. It cues the end credits. You're in a place literally called the end. It's an achievement that totally works. But for summoning the Wither, you have
It's the beginning.
The beginning. With a question
Yep, with a question mark.
You get yourself the beginning again, but this time it's with a period. It's a definitive statement that directly parallels how the Ender Dragon is handled.
Wait, that's how it started.
Very often happens after the dragon has been killed. It's not the beginning of really anything in this game. I was tempted to think that maybe it's the beginning.
Well, yeah, because it's impossible to find Wither skulls.
Again, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, since summoning and defeating the Wither is completely optional in the story. And if and when you do it, nothing much comes of it, really. It gives you a Nether Star, which, for as special and unique as that item is, just allows you to build a beacon that shoots lame buffs into the surrounding area. It's not all that cool, or all that meaningful.
Well, actually, yeah, you get an achievement for making the beacon.
The Wither was the beginning in a different way. What if it's the beginning of the story for the ancient builders that started all this in motion in the first place? Look for a moment at strongholds. They're buried super deep underground, like absurdly deep, and with literally
mine's underwater, but okay.
Like bomb shelters, safety bunkers. But they're defending against what? Zombies? Creepers? I don't think so. You don't go to that extreme just to defend against a regular mob, but a fearsome creature like the Wither that spreads death and decay to anything in its sights? Absolutely. Especially since we know that the Wither flies and also destroys any block that it touches. Your best way to avoid
that is true.
Is going to be by digging down far below where it can reasonably follow. Exactly what we find with the stronghold placement. In fact, it would explain why structures from
that's so true.
On the surface of the overworld are underwater monuments, underground mine shafts, and secluded desert temples. They're the only structures that the Wither wasn't likely to touch and immediately destroy. And on that note, what's the
that is true.
Inside of a stronghold? Well, it's a portal to the end. Now, we just established that the Wither can destroy almost any block that it touches. Almost any block being the operative word there. There are very few exceptions to things that it can destroy. Those exceptions include bedrock, command blocks, extended pistons, and end portal blocks and end portal frames. But if my society is being decimated and I'm trapped in my underground bunker running away from this terrible beast that destroys everything it touches, I'm making sure that I'm building that last-ditch escape effort using supplies that are going to be wither-proof. We also know that the wither was known by the ancient builders. If you look closely at the chiseled red sandstone that was used as decorations in ancient buildings like desert temples and underwater you'll notice a hieroglyphic that clearly depicts the wither. Straight body, 3 skeletal.
Wow, I didn't even notice that.
These structures in the first place certainly knew that this thing existed, but how? Or maybe more importantly, why? Why would anyone intentionally try to summon this thing in the first place? Well, let's look at how it's built, shall we? The wither requires 2 very interesting ingredients in order to be summoned. The first is soul sand, found throughout the nether. Sand that's relatively unremarkable in every way. Oh yeah, except for composed of the souls of the damned. It's well known at this point that if you look at the pattern on soul sand close enough, you'll notice screaming faces staring right back at you. It's also why you get a bit when you're walking across it, almost like the lost souls are pulling you down into them, violently getting you to join them. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is me talking about Minecraft. Kid-friendly, brand approved. So ingredient number 1, 4 cubic meters of damned souls. Check mark there. Secondly, you need 3 withered skeleton heads. But why these particular heads and not just any skeleton head? Well, to understand that, you need to find out what makes the wither skeleton so different from its brethren. You see, wither skeletons gives you wither fortresses. This is worth noting because think about how crazy this is. We're basically in Minecraft's equivalent of HE double toothpicks, a world of ghasts and blazes, where everything is set on fire and nothing can build. Heck, most of the enemy spawns here don't even have arms, and yet somehow there are fortresses here that are being supervised by large cursed skeletons. Fortresses, mind you, contain chests, gold and diamonds and iron.
Yeah, I've never gotten diamonds there.
All materials that aren't found down in the nether naturally. Supplies that had to have been brought down there and left by the original people who constructed these things in the first place.
Wait, so were there skeletons, the skeletons of those original people?
Same sorts of loot. Iron and gold and diamonds and horse armor and saddles. Almost like it's the same people carrying their major supplies from places.
Well, except city is better though.
An ancient race of builders descends into the nether to harvest its resources. They construct fortresses down there to defend against the hostile environment and store their supplies.
But why would they hit a zombie pigman?
Some of their ranks die. The nether
freaking idiots.
Dangerous and violent environment after all. So they bury their dead in the ground, but they don't realize that this place works differently than the overworld they're used to. What little soft ground there is actually sucks the soul out of the dead bodies, giving rise to sand and leaving these bodies as just an undead husk of what they once were. It produces a wither skeleton. And a group of bones that, as an undead, lives as it was given when it was alive. Defend its fortress. Seeing all this, the Ancient Ones start to piece together an idea. If soul sand does indeed contain lost souls and somehow gives rise to the skeletons of the dead, maybe there's a way to combine the two and bring their dead friends back to life.
So that's how the wither was.
I mean, they were builders, after all. Whatever they dreamed came into being from their very hands. They had conquered the earth. They had conquered the realms of heck. Now they would conquer the one thing impossible to any man: death. They would build life itself. I mean, with the raw materials, you can construct anything, right? Why not a lost human? You have the soul in the sand, you have the body in the wither skeleton. Why wouldn't it work? The last thing I'll call out here. You'll notice that
why would they use 3 skulls?
At the end, a lot of them are. The reason I call this out is that it shows an escalation in the way these ancient builders started using magic. By the time they end their journey in the end, they're full-blown magic users. They've started to go beyond just construction. They're starting to play with mystical forces. So, how does this story all work out? Well, it's a classic tale of hubris. The builders, having been to the fiery depths of heck, try to harness the ultimate resource, the power of life and death itself. They combine the soul and the body, the soul sand and the wither skeleton head, and it doesn't work. But by this point, They're obsessed. There has to be a way to make it work. Like so many other fictional characters before them, like Dr. Frankenstein, like the Elrics. They're convinced that they have the right ingredients, and so they start going down darker, more supernatural paths in their quest to crack the mystery. Magic, enchantment, potions. Maybe they go to the witches, already outcasts from society for their use of soul sand to concoct awkward potions and strange brews.
Well, yeah.
That's when they stumble upon it. They finally manage to create something, but it wasn't what they expected. Instead of bringing new life to a dead friend, they create a hideous and destructive beast. One out to punish them for tampering with
So wait, the Wither is kind of like...
They make the Wither an unstoppable force. A beast that, as we know, destroys the blocks that it touches and curses anything that gets in its way with decay. Gone overnight were the great buildings that this ancient race once constructed.
Yeah, that's so true.
Standing are temples far out into the deserts, mine shafts hidden deep underground, monuments under the water. Gone are all the people of this once great society, one by one consumed by the Wither. A disease literally
Don't turn white.
them away from the inside. Friends, neighbors, dead.
Is that how they
brought back to life in the form of skeletons and zombies? The living roam the landscape to this day. So for their own protection, the remaining ancient people hide underground, deep underground, down near.
So is this the full story?
Called strongholds, far below where the flying Wither.
So this must be the full story.
Existence on the surface, and it's there that they plan their escape. They've hopped to different realms before using portal technology. Why not again? But this time the portal has to be made to be Wither-proof, which is why end portal blocks are literally the only block type outside of Bedrock immune to the Wither's attacks. And from there, we know the rest. They managed to make the portal and hop to the end, but it's a one-way trip. They don't realize that the portal won't be accessible behind them, and what awaits on the other side is something else, something completely unexpected, something that may have even been worse. The Ender Dragon. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks.
So yeah, that was kind of like the whole story of like what happened to the ancient people and like what happened to them, especially with all these other theories. So yeah, I guess that kind of explains the lore, I guess. Well, I mean, this is probably going to get disproven, but I don't know. Maybe it won't. But yeah, anyways, guys, welcome to this episode. Leave a like and maybe subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!